Hello my dear sewing friends, and today we have another quick and easy sewing project. It's great for beginners, it's great for scrap busting. You can also, of course, make it for yourself, make it as a gift, or even as something that you can sew and sell. And the best part, it's only 5 rectangles. It comes together real easy, and as always, I'll guide you through step by step, and I'll let you in on some of the useful tips so that way it turns out real nice. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now, when it comes to selecting fabrics for your pouches, I would stick to cotton. Medium weight cotton will do really well. You can go for something a little bit heavier as well. And of course, you can use other fabrics like linen and mixes. But I would say cotton is the most reliable, goes easy, and you probably already have some fabric scraps or some yardage in your stash. As you can see, I have already cut my fabric. We will need 4 rectangles, each measuring 6 inches by 10 inches. We will need 2 from the outer fabric and 2 from the lining. We will also need a smaller rectangle, just 1, measuring 4 inches by about 2.5. This project also involves a zipper. You can use any length zipper that's longer than 10 inches. Mine is about 10 inches and a half, and that will do. This is just a regular non-separating zipper that you will be able to find in almost any craft store. First, we're going to give this little piece a little bit of a press. Turn it wrong side up, fold about 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch in on the long side. Give it a good press. We will repeat the same thing on the bottom. Fold in about 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch. Give it a good press. Then bring the edges together like so. Give it another press. After that, grab your scissors and cut about in the middle. There we go. Next, we need to grab our zipper, and we need to cut our zipper about 1 inch shorter than the long edge of our pouch. For me, that's actually right here after the metal parts at the beginning of the zipper and right here before the metal stopper on the end of the zipper. That's 9 inches from one end to another. For you, you will need to measure that. So what we're going to do is open the zipper about halfway through, and then I'm going to cut right after the metal stoppers right here and right before the metal stopper over here. Now we will need to take these parts and attach it to the zipper. What we're going to do is we're going to open it, place it like so, and pin. We're going to do it in 2 steps because I find that if you are a beginner, this is way easier than doing it all at once. And of course you can do it all at once if you so desire, but I find that sometimes an extra step makes it easier. This is what we have so far. Let's take it to the sewing machine. I find that it's easier and smoother if you increase the stitch length of your straight stitch, because that way it will go smoother through the thick zipper. We're also going to start and end with a back stitch, and we're using just a straight stitch. We're going to place our project underneath the presser foot, and we're going to start stitching at the beginning of the zipper tape. Our goal is to stitch through the layer of the zipper and with a little tab underneath. So you need to catch the zipper and the fabric. Once you're done with one side, you're going to repeat the same on the other side. Now, if you do have a metal zipper, you want to make sure that instead of just sewing through it, you hand crank through it so that way you don't break your needle in the process. Next, let's enclose the raw edge of the zipper like so and stitch over this part one more time, this time catching all 3 layers, 2 layers of fabric and a zipper. Once again, we're using just a straight stitch with a back stitch at the beginning and at the end, and this is what you're going to have once done. Next, grab 1 rectangle of your outer fabric and 1 rectangle of your lining fabric, and let's attach the zipper. Take your zipper with the zipper pull facing down, align it, center it, so that way from each edge you have about 1/2 inch left, and then pin. Next, take your lining, place it right side down, so looking at your outer fabric like so. align it at the edge, and re-pin so that way you have a 3-layer sandwich. Leave your zipper about halfway unzipped. That way it will be easier for you to get the zipper pull out of the way as we're sewing it. At the sewing machine, switch out your all-purpose foot to a zipper foot and clip it into the left slot. Grab your project, and I like to align the edge of the zipper foot with the edge of the fabric. We're going to start with the back stitch, and once again with a straight stitch, we're going to sew from the top to bottom. Once you have reached the zipper pull, you can feel the bump over here. Leave the needle inside of your project, lift up your presser foot, reach inside and finagle the zipper pull out of the way, and then continue stitching all the way till the bottom. This is what we have so far. At this point, let's go ahead and snap these parts because we no longer need them. And now we're going to give it a good press. Open it up. First, we're going to press it on the side of the lining. Just a quick little press over here. Then flip it like so. Pull on the outer fabric just a little bit. And give it another press. Now we're going to top stitch from over here all the way till over here. I find that it works the best. And we're going to top stitch quite close to the edge of the fabric. Leaving the zipper foot in exactly the same position, we're going to start at the end of the zipper, so at the end part. And once again, I'm aligning this edge of the zipper foot now with this edge of the fabric. As always, don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and at the end. Now you're going to repeat all the same steps on the other side. To do that, open your zipper about halfway through, grab your outer fabric, place it right sides facing with the other outer fabric, like so, aligning at the top edge of the zipper and on the sides. Then grab your lining fabric, right side up, right sides facing with the other lining fabric, once again aligning at the sides and with the top edge of the zipper. Then pin, just like we did previously, from one edge to another edge, and follow all of the same steps. This is what we're going to have once done. All right, the next step is to open the zipper, then take your outer fabric, bring it together like so, and place it on your working area. Now we want to make sure that the seam allowances right over here are pointing towards the direction of the lining. Then we align them and pin them, and you're going to feel a little bump over here. That's where the zipper is at. Then we want to pin all the way to one side and all the way to the other side. Now let's take it to the sewing machine. Here I have switched to a regular presser foot, and we're going to stitch once again with straight stitch with about 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, starting and ending with a back stitch. Once you get to the zipper part where the two fabrics connect, your presser foot will naturally want to lift up. So just slow and steady, go over it. Once completed, I like to give it a quick peek and double check that everything is sewn nice and neat. That's what we want. And now we can go ahead and do exactly the same steps on the other side. When both sides are sewn, now we need to sew the bottom of the outer fabric. So, just like previously, from one edge to the other with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, we're going to sew it shut. On the lining, I'm going to leave it as is because I prefer it this way. But you can also sew in a little bit here and on the other side and leave just a small opening for turning everything right side out. Now let's turn out the corners, and I personally don't like snipping into them, especially if it's a 90-degree angle, because it is a stress point. Instead, place your hand inside, and this is what we're going to do. Fold in one of the seam allowances, the side seam allowance in, then fold in the top seam allowance in, and now turn out the corner. You might need to help it out a bit with a rolling motion from your fingers, and that's it. You get a nice 90-degree angle. Next, turn the entire project right side out. However, leave the lining out like this. Next, grab it and with your fingers, fold the seam allowances in about 1/2 inch. So the seam allowances on the outer fabric were 3/8 of an inch, but here we're gonna do 1/2 inch, so that way it's not too bulky right there. Once you have folded them in, like so, give it a good press. For this next step, flip out the seam allowance and then trim it in half. Also, while you're at it, give a good rest to the rest of your project. At the sewing machine, using your straight stitch, we're going to sew extremely close to the edge, catching both layers of the lining. This is what it's going to look like once you're done. Now, pop the lining inside, and that's it. Your pouch is ready. This one I made from fabric scraps from a tote bag project that we worked on a couple videos ago. So if you would like to see step-by-step instructions on how to make this tote with a front zipper pocket, then click on a video right over here. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope that you're excited to use up your fabric scraps to make something useful. And until next time, happy, thoughtful sewing. I'll see you soon.